vacancies. So, bring up Autumn. She's gonna do something with you.
I think the city clerk is here.
Oh, she's not.
Hello. Please raise your right hand. Do you, Autumn Hendricks, do solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a full-time police officer for the city of Laconia, according to the best of your knowledge and abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the City of Laconia Police Department, the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the state of New Hampshire, and the ordinances of the City of Laconia, New Hampshire, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
We're gonna have you sign this here. Oh, you have one.
I have the pen.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Autumn. If you want to just go around and the commission would like to congratulate you as well.
Which side of this name?
Whatever's easiest, whatever's, this is good.
Either way.
Congratulations. Good to meet you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Autumn.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're all set.
I don't know. I don't know if this is our first time.
Is that mine?
I think it's yours, isn't it?
Oh, no.
I thought it was yours.
Oh, no, thank you.
I thought he left on the sheet.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to accommodations and awards, Chief Canfield.
We have our award ceremony next Thursday night at the Opera House, so we'll be looking to recognize a number of officers who did some great, amazing police work over the course of the year.
What time does that start?
5 to 6 is hors d'oeuvres, and then 6 to 7:30 is the ceremony.
Resignations and retirement, Chief Canfield.
We do have one resignation, which was Patrol Officer Evan Shaheen. He is leaving police work for a better schedule and going into sales. However, he's going to stay on as a part-time officer.
Disenchanted with police work or just?
You know,
change?
he's looking to have a family, he's looking to have kids later on, and the schedule of being a police officer and the thought of working nights and weekends and holidays was not something that he wanted to do with kids. And he was looking for the opportunities in sales where he said he could make more money. So I think he enjoyed the police work, and that's why he wanted to stay on part-time. So I did have an exit interview with him, and he had no complaints about anything within.
What's involved with staying on part-time? Does he have to do certification hours, or how does that?
Yeah, so he'll have to attend mandatory training, which would be firearms training, use of force training, that type of training. And then the requirement will be that he'll work consistent hours throughout the year just to stay up to date, and then be available for bigger events, whether it be Motorcycle Week or some of the bigger events to help out, so.
Good.
Promotions and or classification change, Chief Canfield.
Nothing?
Moving on to command staff reports, support division, Chief Canfield.
They've been very busy working on a number of different grants that I'll explain in my report, as well as doing the maintenance work and upkeep on the current grants that we have. There are also, detectives are working on the shooting investigation that occurred on Avery Street. I must say that there was great cooperation between patrol officers and detectives in working on that case from the initial response right through the actual crime scene process, and so that remains a priority for them upstairs.
Moving on to Operations Division, Chief Canfield.
So they're in the process of finishing up fall firearms training, which is afternoons, and planning for Pumpkin Fest, which takes place this weekend, as well as the Wicked Weirs that occurs up in the Weirs as the last hurrah for the summer. They assisted UNH with homecoming events a couple weekends ago, and they've just been generally pretty busy.
Nothing under hirings, Chief.
No, sir.
Moving on to commission action, acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Motion was made by Commissioner Mello, second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion made by Commissioner Mello was seconded by Commissioner Davis. Passes unanimously. The meeting minutes of September 14th are accepted as distributed. Out-of-state schools.
I do have one request for an out-of-state training class for Patrol Officer Tyler Babineau and Tyler Rouse. Both of them are certified instructors in the Gracie Survival Tactics, which is a part of our defensive tactics program. Essentially, the defensive tactics program has changed from what it used to be. This gains a lot more better control and restraint of violent persons while reducing injuries and liability to both them and the officer. So we transitioned this program several years ago. This is a level 2 certification, so it's to kind of bring the Gracie Survival Tactics to the next level. So this would be a request to support sending both of them to East Vincent Township in Pennsylvania, to the police training facility that is down there from April 17th to the 21st. They would travel by department vehicle. The cost of tuition, meals and rooms would be about $3,330 combined for both of them. And looking for a request to approve that.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve. Gracie Survival Tactics School.
A motion made by Commissioner Davis to approve the out-of-state school, second by Commissioner Mello. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
That would be a signature.
Moving on to a review of monthly activity reports. Department monthly highlights, Chief Canfield.
So after the commission meeting last month, we convened a group to look at the way we track our statistics, and kind of took a deep dive into how our statistics were tracked, the reasoning behind them. This group kind of examined how that was done, and there was some stuff that was not reported or reported differently, such as a park and walk and talk versus community policing walking on the beat type of thing. So we kind of streamlined it. We added some categories to include the park walk and talk, streamlined that process. Beginning next month, we'll also be tracking training hours, which is directly correlates to if, say, traffic stops are down 1 month, but training hours are up, or there's more patrol on the WOW trail, so officers aren't in the cars, then you're gonna see that change. So I'm hoping that with this change, we'll be able to accurately reflect the activity of the officers and why it might shift or fluctuate depending on priorities for that month. So it'll probably take a little while to kind of establish a baseline with some of those new categories, but that is what we are looking at doing. Total calls for service for the month of September was 2,413 calls. The new category, we did 50 park walk and talks during the month, conducted 311 extra patrols, 12 community policing events, investigated 378 criminal offenses, clearing 173 of those by criminal arrest, resulting in a total of 115 physical custody arrests. We took 27 people into custody for intoxication, responded to 27 domestic disturbance calls, 111 other disturbance calls, assisted 5 subjects, suicidal subjects, and investigated 12 restraining orders. In addition, our victim services unit donated 8 hours of time to assist in the legal division.
If someone stops an officer and asks for directions to, where's the closest gas station or does that count as a contact with the public? I mean,
It doesn't, we don't pull call numbers for that, or, only if someone calls into the dispatch pretty much, or if they initiate something that results in more time consuming, but, I know there's some departments that will pull calls for service if they stop and move a trash can out of the road or something like that, but at some point, it just becomes part of their normal duties, that's what they do, so that is not accounted for.
criminal investigative unit statistics, Chief Canfield.
For the month of September, they took on 32 initial cases, conducted 22 follow-ups on other cases, made 3 felony arrests, initiated 10 felony charges, 13 misdemeanor arrests, 7 misdemeanor charges, initiated 18 search warrants or arrest warrants, cleared 1 case exceptionally, cleared 1 case by means of unfounded, conducted 18 sex offender registrations, 19 knock and talk investigations, 5 drug intel sheets, and then they assisted with covering 11 hours of patrol shifts, conducted 2 polygraph examinations, 163 hours of training, which would probably be most likely attributed to Detective Haran, who was one of our firearms instructor, who was kind of transferred to assist with firearms training for the fall, and then conducted 43 body-worn camera redactions.
Questions? Moving on to budget printouts, Chief Canfield.
The budget is on track early in the year, but it is on track unless there's any questions.
Questions? Okay. Monthly traffic statistics, Chief Canfield.
For the month of September, we issued 66 parking tickets. The number 1 reason was for overtime parking, which resulted in 54 of those. We responded to a total of 47 motor vehicle accidents, 9 of which had injury, 1 of which was a fatal. Number 1 cause was no contributing action, which resulted, or was attributed to 28 of those accidents. For the month of September, we made 697 motor vehicle stops, issued 39 summonses, 592 warnings. Just as a side note, if you look at our traffic stats, they're at 697 for September, whereas in August they were at 548, so those were bounced up a little bit.
Questions?
When do you stop with the bicycle patrols? I mean, how,
We will run those until it gets too cold,
what's the goal? Yeah, just,
probably sometime in November or so.
yep.
Monthly fleet report, Chief Canfield.
Nothing unless you have any questions.
They got the new motorcycle on,
The new motorcycle is being outfitted. We took delivery of it, but it's being outfitted with the radio and the lights and that stuff, so it should be ready to go come spring.
Correspondence to and from the department. Chief Canfield.
Nothing? Oh, I'm sorry, I guess I had a couple. So you'll see in the packet, there was a thank you note from former Vice President Mike Pence, who wrote a thank you note for a law enforcement roundtable that I sat on with him. There was a woman that reached out regarding a call for service that she had with Officer Danute. And then we assisted with the birthday party for Tiny Craig, who had been in Boston Children's Hospital for a long-term treatment, and he was turning, I believe he was turning 4 years old after a long medical condition. So we joined up with the fire department and did a birthday party drive-by with him, which really made his day. We had a thank you letter from Chief Temporino from the Plymouth State University Police Department. We had sent an officer up there to help them with one of their busy weekends with the transport van. And then that was it. Thank you.
Chief's report, Chief Canfield.
Speaking of the WOW Trail, Monday morning, myself, Roy Cudahy, and Alan Beadle will be going out on the WOW Trail. Commissioner Davis, you're certainly welcome to join us if you'd like. We'll be meeting at the police department at 10. We're gonna go out on the WOW Trail, take a look at it. Roy has an electric bike business, so he's gonna loan us some of his bikes to navigate the WOW Trail, ride up and down, and he wants to point out some of the hot spots on the WOW Trail that he may think could use some improvement or of particular concern to police, and so look forward to meeting up with him. So you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like.
This coming Monday?
Yes, we're meeting at the police station at 10.
Okay.
Dr. Speed reached out to us last week. He wanted to express his appreciation of everything the police department does. He provided a nice, dropped off a nice lunch for the officers and employees yesterday, which was very nice of him. We participated in an event today at the Taylor Community. It was a drive-by show of appreciation where the residents could come out and show their appreciations of what we do, and then they provided some box lunches for the employees as well. In the process of meeting with roll calls, I've come in and talked to several of the roll calls recently, and I'll be hitting some more of the roll calls, in addition to conducting an anonymous internal survey on employee satisfaction. And it's been several years since we've done this, and just looking to fine-tune and look for opportunities to make things more efficient and better for the employees. As I said, our Department Award ceremony is next Thursday night, which will be held at the Opera House. I was notified of another federal grant that we received in the amount of $107,888. This will fund the purchase of police camera trailers that we'll use during Motorcycle Week and other major events. This is 100% funded with no matching funds. We've also been awarded the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant, which will pay for 50% of our ballistic vest for replacements. So, very positive there. We're beginning our Year 3 review of our CALIA accreditation process, which should take place November 4th through the 12th. I don't know the number of standards that they'll be looking at, but I would say it'll probably be in the area of 80 to 100 standards, so they'll be doing that during November. Officer Callanan, we have a suggestion box that we review every staff meeting. Officer Callanan had put a suggestion in there. She had a really well-written, full one-page suggestion on improvements that we could do to help with the homelessness issue at Rotary Park specifically. She said that as a resident of the city, she has investment in the city and just really wanted to help and had some really good suggestions. So I like the drive-in initiative, and she's been assigned to take that on, and she's had some meetings with the Belknap Mill, looking to improve those conditions, and she'll be working with Eric Adams to kind of coordinate the efforts as he works on the whole citywide homelessness issue under the mayor's task force. I think a while ago, there was a question at the commission meeting about the no contributing action category for accidents. Finally was able to hunt down an explanation for that. Essentially, it's if a driver was, say, going through an intersection, had a green light, and then got T-boned by another car, it's not his fault. He had no cause for the crash himself. So that's essentially what that category is. It was new. There's new crash reporting software that we're required to use through the state, and we just had to work through that. Capital improvement requests for next year have been submitted, which included the replacement of 3 police vehicles, replacement of the main computer server, our police technology requests that we have done the last several years, as well as portable radios and the erection of a storage and evidence building. The perimeter fence security project that was approved a long time ago was supposed to start this past Monday, but it's going to get underway this coming Monday. So hopefully we'll see that done and complete within a week and a half or so. I attended the vigil on Sunday, October 2nd, at Peachy Park concerning hate and the swastikas that was found. Year to date, we've had a total of 44 overdoses with 4 suspected fatalities. And then year to date, line of duty deaths across our nation are 192 so far year to date, so.
Did they get anybody on them swastikas and stuff?
We have not. We have some suspects that are persons of interest on that, but we don't have enough to bring charges at this point. So.
Moving on to old business. Chief Canfield.
Nothing?
New business.
Nothing?
Other business.
Nothing?
Citizen comments. Hearing none, confirmation of the next meeting date, November 16th. Any conflicts? November 16th it is. Of course, you spoke about a new evidence building.
Yes, that would be basically a storage building where the current impound lot is. So when we take evidence in, like we've got a number of vehicles now, larger items that we can't bring into the evidence room inside, they sit outside and they essentially rust and they decay. And by the time they go to court a year or two later and then they're returned to the owner, they're not in much good condition. So this storage building would give us the ability to store stuff inside, better protected, as well as all the bicycles. We have over 100 bicycles in our impound lot this year that have just been sitting out in the weather decaying. So by the time we send those to auction, they're not worth much because they're very rusted. So we protect those. But then some of our other equipment that we have, such as our signboards, the motorcycles, the light towers, that kind of stuff, that we have no place to store those right now. And all winter, keeping them outside in the snow doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it would be a place to store those inside as well.
Is that a project that the Hewitt Tech students could do, or?
It would be pretty involved. It would be a pretty big building, so I don't think so. I can tell you that I've worked closely with Congressman Chris Pappas, who has put forth funding through his office, and preliminarily we are approved for $100,000 from them in DC. It's got to go through a couple of the other smaller review committees, but I expect that we'll be eligible for that money. So.
Good check.
You want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they've got going on,
Yeah.
but I could certainly check and see.
Yeah, it's a pretty big building. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
beyond their capacity or not. It'd be like
Yeah,
80 by,
might not be able to do it on site, but I don't know if there's anything they could do
yeah,
there and transport over, you know?
yep,
Be worth asking the question.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? No need for non-public, so entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion made by Commissioner Mello to adjourn,
Second?
second by Commissioner Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously at 3:27.
Where are they gonna park over there if they, you have to, down in, Lee?